On the eve of New York City's mayoral election, President Donald Trump made a surprise intervention. Taking to social media late Monday evening, Trump offered a full-throated endorsement of former New York Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, throwing his weight behind the embattled independent candidate in his uphill fight against Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice, Trump wrote. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it, Mamdani is not. POTUS also threatened to pull federal funds if Mamdani is elected, stating, "If communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds, other than the very minimum as required, to my beloved first home, because of the fact that, as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success, or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years, and never once have they been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat, who has had a record of success, win, than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of the class, and as mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory." Trump had hinted at his position a day earlier during his appearance on 60 Minutes, offering what many saw as a backhanded compliment. "I prefer a bad Democrat to a communist," he said, referring to Cuomo as the bad Democrat and Mamdani as a communist, despite Mamdani identifying as a democratic socialist. Billionaire Elon Musk also joined the fray, using his massive online following to echo Trump's endorsement, in his typically irreverent fashion. "A vote for Curtis is really a vote for Mamdumi or whatever his name is," Musk posted, deliberately misspelling Mamdani's name. Asked how he would respond to Trump's vow to withhold federal funding from New York if Mamdani were elected, the Democratic nominee signaled he would not be intimidated by political threats from Washington.
But I want to take a moment to speak about who is on the ballot tonight. Donald Trump just put out a statement encouraging New Yorkers, saying they must vote for Andrew Cuomo. We know and have known for months that Donald Trump would favor Andrew Cuomo as the mayor. They share the same donors. They share the same small vision. They share the same sense of impunity. And yet in these final days, what was rumored, what was feared has become naked and unabashed. The MAGA movement's embrace of Andrew Cuomo is reflective of Donald Trump's understanding that this would be the best mayor for him. Not the best mayor for New York City, not the best mayor for New Yorkers, but the best mayor for Donald Trump as his administration.
If you are elected, that is a very real threat that you're going to have to deal with. How will you address that after you're elected if you win?
I will address that threat for what it is. It is a threat. It is not the law. And too often we treat everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth as if it is already legal just by virtue of who is saying it. And it is time to finally stand up to the bullies that make these threats, not to become the bullies ourselves. And we've seen time and time again that the best way to respond to Donald Trump and to defeat these kinds of threats is to actually stand up and fight back. You've seen leaders across this country who have shown their unwillingness to compromise on their own morals and their own values as the way in which they fight back. And too often what we found in New York City is instead a willingness to capitulate and coordinate. And all of this with the most collaborative mayor you could find for Donald Trump in New York City. Donald Trump ran a presidential campaign with the promise of cheaper groceries. Donald Trump ran a presidential campaign committing to lowering the cost of living. What our success will show is that it is not enough to diagnose the despair in working class Americans' lives. You have to actually deliver on the agenda. And that is what we intend to do each and every day while we are in office. You know, I will always speak to every New Yorker who calls the city home. And while I'm looking to speak to Donald Trump's voters, Andrew Cuomo is looking to speak to Donald Trump's donors. That's the difference here. These are New Yorkers who voted for the president in the hopes of having a lower cost of living, and who instead found that their despair was exploited as a means by which to deliver the political prosecution of Donald Trump's enemies and the enacting of the single largest deportation force in American history.
Phone banking for you today. Do you have any concerns?
As New York heads to the polls, the late-night endorsements from Trump and Musk have turned what was already a historic race, with an Indian-origin Democratic Socialist as the frontrunner, into one of the most watched political showdowns in the country.